Welcome, AG3 parents. I'm Mr. Gamache, your child's AG3 teacher this year. In lieu of the traditional open house presentation, we're doing this virtually this year. So I'm going to walk through the course a little bit, give you an idea of what it looks like. If your students have me period 1, they also have Mrs. Calandra, excuse me. She's chances are is going to be posting her own video as well, but we are both co-teachers, so if there are any issues, you can reach out to either her or I. We're both equally in charge of instruction, grading, and whatnot, so we are true partners in this sense. However, if your child has me for period 2, I'm the sole instructor for that course. Now, I'm going to walk through a few things to give you an idea of what the course looks like, and so you can be prepared and help your child out at home as needed if possible. All right, so for the course overview, just to give you a brief overview here, the weekly schedule is going to be very consistent. Now, for cohorts A and B, in person as well as at home, we're keeping to a very consistent schedule. On Mondays and Wednesdays each week, we're going to be presenting an ed puzzle or teacher-directed instruction. So Mondays and Wednesdays are typically going to be new topics. We're going to be going over something, and in that puzzle, it's usually about a 15 to 20-minute video with questions embedded that students answer as they go along to reinforce understanding and to help us gauge whether we need to deliver it a little differently. Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're going to be doing in-class assignments where they'll be paired with a partner and they can work through Google Meets virtually. So it encourages collaboration. So that collaboration that we usually encourage in the classroom, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently, but students will still get a chance to work with one another. And then Fridays are going to be our weekly assessments. Now, those can look a bit differently. Sometimes they may be short quizzes, they may be projects. It all depends on the nature of the topic that week. Now, on each page, you will also notice that I included my YouTube channel. This is where I'll be posting a lot of homework support, maybe me going over concepts. This is a good way for me to reach out to kids, and if they have questions, I can answer them via this channel here. So it's a great tool that I've been using for a number of years, and I encourage students to make the most of it, especially under these circumstances. Now, as you know, I'm not going to be in for the first 4 weeks due to some health concerns, but I look forward to being back hopefully in the next 4 weeks. But I can assure you your child is still getting some top-notch instruction. I did take a course at Bridgewater State over the summer, a graduate course, and transition to distance learning. So I've really focused on how I can deliver instruction remotely that can mirror or be as effective as what would be in the classroom. So the supports we have for students include these ed puzzles, these YouTube videos, Schoology discussion boards, Google Meets, as well as consistent contact via email. You'll probably find that if your child emailed me, I got back to them very quickly. I am right on top of my computer during the school day, and I'm answering any questions that need to be answered, as well as providing support from a distance. The weekly schedule we already walked through. Now, by the way, if you want to follow along with this, this is the open house document. It's right at the top of the period 1 and period 2 Schoology pages. You can always come back to this at your leisure. Now, the resources we offer, these ed puzzles, they can be found on Schoology. Now, typically each day, you'll notice that each folder has a date on it. If you click on that, I provide an agenda. The agenda speaks about what we're going to be doing that particular day and the type of assignments you could be seeing here. So like here, you'll notice there's a worksheet. There's a Google Meet link. September 17th, our agenda here. You'll notice that we provide, in this case, an ed puzzle. So if you click on the ed puzzle here, this one provides a link and a class code. The rest of them, as of recently, have been embedded. That makes it a lot easier to work on, believe it or not. So if we go to this most recent one, it's embedded right here into Schoology. Just click on it. And now I'm seeing it from a teacher standpoint because that's how I'm signed in. But what a child will see is a video that they click on, and then there will be questions that they answer throughout. And their grades get imported into Schoology. It's a great tool. You'll also notice a discussion board I have here up for anyone who has questions about the homework that was previously due that day. I also include an answer sheet for students to look at, and we also have notes, an outline here for students to follow along with. All right, so let's go back here. Go back to our presentation. Now, this AG3 course, we integrated all 3 math courses a few years ago. We used to teach Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. We condensed them into 3 courses called Integrated Mathematics. It's something that's being adopted throughout the country right now. We're actually a bit ahead of the curve here in Grafton, which is great. A lot of schools are looking to adopt this in the next couple of years. So we're a bit ahead of the curve, and ultimately, what they've been finding is that delivering it in this integrated model, it's great for reinforcing algebra and geometry throughout the whole high school curriculum instead of just revisiting it and coming back to it. Now, topics we're going to be covering this year in algebra include functions, quadratics, systems, linear programming, polynomials, and rational functions. Geometry, we're covering symmetry. And ultimately, the goal is that students will have the tools they need to be successful on not only the MCAS, but as well as the PSATs, as well as SATs. How is level 2 different than level 1? Excuse me, it should say level 1, excuse me. Now, it's the same curriculum with some modifications. Now, they're doing essentially the same stuff, but we emphasize quality over quantity. We keep pace with the level 1 class. There are guided notes provided. There are less complex values, like less emphasis on rational numbers and fractions, and stronger focus on integers. And we also provide number sense review built in throughout the year. And essentially that's the gist of this course for right now. So this is the way it's built. You're going to always see a folder here with all this information. I work hard with my other co-teachers who teach this course as well, Ms. Roy, Mrs. Scanlon, as well as Mr. Dross. So we make sure that we're always on the same track. We're delivering students the same material, and that way everyone's getting an equitable approach to this course. If you ever have any questions, you can always reach me at gamasht@grafton.k12.ma.us. Looking forward to a great year with